Welcome to Recaply X, your movie recap in a flash. We bring the drama, the action, and the twists. In minutes, the movie begins in 1993, in a poor country. And there is a poor blind boy. He couldn't walk, and the weather was rainy. So he fall down because he couldn't see anything, and at that time, his mother was helping him. He also had issues with his legs, which made walking even harder for him. The boy was sitting, eating, and didn't know what was happening because he was blind, which made it difficult for his mother to deal with him. After a while, his father entered with an umbrella, angry and upset with the boy, saying to his wife, "Why did you bring someone to be a burden on us? We don't want to live with him anymore. We want to be free from him." He even wanted to take the boy and throw him out on the street, but the mother said, "No, he's my son, and I won't throw him out on the street." At that moment, the father started hitting her hard. Then the father took the mother and forced her out of the house, wanting to leave her and the boy alone. But at that moment, the boy removed the veil from his eyes, revealing his blue eyes filled with immense anger. His father started moving strangely, stepping backward, while his mother watched her son, not understanding what was happening. Then we see the father committing suicide, and it becomes clear that the boy was controlling him with his eyes, making him kill himself. At that moment, his mother was terrified of him, asking, "What have you done? How could you kill your father like this?" The boy appeared angry, and his mother wanted to kill him. His eyes turned blue again, and he moved his hands toward his mother's neck as if to kill her, but he stopped and chose not to harm her. He left his mother and walked away down the street. 20 years later, we see a man standing in a bank. The man had a bag, opened it, and all the people in the bank started putting money into the bag. The man collected all the money, left the bank, and handed the bag to the blind man. It became clear that the blind man was controlling him with his eyes until he got the money he wanted. The blind man sat in a park, reading some magazines, happy and relaxed, while people walked by normally. Then he saw a little girl, nagging her mother to buy her a specific toy, but the mother refused. The blind man stopped time, controlled everyone, and made them stay in their places. He made the mother buy the toy the girl wanted. However, he noticed another man moving normally, unaffected by his control. The blind man was confused, trying repeatedly to control him, but it didn't work. Suddenly, a car hit the man, and the blind man thought he was dead, and that he was finally free from him, unable to discover his secret. Later, we learn that the man survived the accident and was in the hospital. This meant the blind man's life was in danger. The blind man tried to confirm his ability to control people with his eyes by controlling everyone in the building across from him, successfully doing so. After some time, we learn that the man who caused the accident went to the blind man's house, demanding financial compensation. But the blind man had no money. He was a musician. The man who caused the accident realized the blind man was unemployed, so he offered him a job, which the blind man accepted. One day, the blind man saw the man again and realized he couldn't control him. He became furious, desperate to get rid of him. The blind man involved his friends and went to the place where the man was. He controlled everyone except the man, trying to harm him but failing because of his leg disability. He made his friends attack the man, and one of them stabbed him in the back with a knife, but he didn't die. Then, the blind man made the girl throw the man, who hit him with the car, out of the window. The man panicked, looking out the window, and the blind man made the girl electrocute him in the back. The blind man left them and walked away. We then learn that the man who fell out of the window died, prompting the police to investigate the man who hit him. The man explained what happened, saying that a blind man was controlling people and causing all this, but no one believed him. He told his friends, saying, "You might not believe me, but this is what happened." He showed them a camera recording that captured what the blind man did, convincing them of the truth. They altered the video to protect the girl who had thrown the man out of the window. The blind man hired 2 strong men to attack and kill the man. The man warned his friends that the blind man was coming with strong men to kill him. The strong men tried to kill him, but he managed to escape. During the fight, the blind man was hit in the eye, realizing that if his eyes weren't on someone, he couldn't control them. The man and his friends used this to their advantage, blindfolding the blind man and taking the video to the police. However, the blind man Kafarsum controlled 2 people in front of him, making them chase the man to shoot him. The blind man escaped, and the man ran after him. The blind man controlled everyone around him, gathering them against the man to stop him from pursuing him. He threatened a woman, making her lift her child as if to throw him to the ground. The man ran to save the child, but the blind man made 2 people throw a large rock at him, intending to kill him. The blind man stopped controlling people and came down to confirm the man's death. He saw blood coming from the man's mouth and thought, "He's dead, and I'm finally free of him." When the blind man returned home, there were many police officers. Using his power, he controlled them, making them kill each other, except for one officer who was out of the blind man's sight and unaffected. This officer realized the truth about the blind man's abilities. Later, we see the man's daughter talking to an elderly woman who turns out to be the blind man's mother. She says, "This is my son, and I want to see him," as she looks at his picture in the newspaper. And you know that he is wanted by the police to be arrested. But the man who knows the truth about the blind man did not die, and he had a copy of the real tape of the girl killing her father. And when she was stabbing him with the knife, it became clear that she was the one who killed her father because of the blind man and his strange ability. The blind man returns to his house and finds his mother there, and there were police officers present. He controlled the police and wanted to either bring his mother or kill himself. But he kept crying until he received a phone call from the man who knows his truth, and he told him, "I sent your mother to your house." At that moment, he asked him to meet him at the theater. The police knew what was going to happen, and they gathered at that place to try to finish off the blind man. When the show began, he controlled everyone and made them look at the man. At that moment, he appeared in front of him and kept sending him messages through the people attending the show. He told him that everything happening to these people is because of him. Then he started killing them and made them jump off the walls. The man kept telling him, "It's wrong for these people to die. Stop what you're doing." After that, the investigator fully realized the extent of the power of the person in front of him. He stood behind him and held him at gunpoint so he couldn't see him and control him. But the blind man knew how to control him by seeing his eye in the mirror in front of him. After that, he made him jump and commit suicide, and the people in the show woke up to see all these corpses around them, and they all went insane, wondering when and how this happened. The girl comes home and tells him, "I spoke with your mother and found out what happened to you as a child. Why are you doing this to people? Let's talk calmly." The man wanted to get rid of him, but he controlled everyone who tried to catch him. Then he left with the girl, and there were many police officers outside. They were aiming a big spotlight on him, so he couldn't see anything and control them. But at that moment, he tricked them and made someone else take his place, so he could escape from the police. After that, he started controlling the police officers. He kept controlling them until the man came and caught him. He told him, "Leave people alone and stop hurting them." The blind man wanted to control the girl and kill her, but the man saved her and stopped the blind man. At that moment, the blind man started to feel rejected by everyone. He wanted to jump off the wall and kill himself, but the man saved him and told him, "I won't let you kill yourself." At that moment, the man caught him, and they both fell from a great height. But we find out that the blind man didn't die. At that moment, the police managed to catch him, tie him up, and blindfold him, so he would stop his habit of controlling people. The normal man returned to his ordinary life, while the blind man was shown tied up and blindfolded, unable to use his talent to control people anymore. The police kept him restrained so he wouldn't kill anyone else. We see him crying, regretting the life he chose for himself. He could have lived as a normal human being, but the hatred inside him was because of what happened to him as a child at the hands of his father. The film ends like this. Finally, if you enjoyed today's movie, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. See you in the next